Front of the vehicle, I'm going to look underneath for any signs of leak. Passenger side general hoses, make sure they're properly mounted, secured at both ends, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and they're not leaking. Look at my belt-driven alternator. It's properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. All the wires are connected. The belt's not cracked or frayed, and there's between 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of free play. And take a look at my driver's side general hoses. Make sure they're properly mounted, secured at both ends, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and they're not leaking. My coolant reservoir, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking, filled to the manufacturer's specifications. My belt-driven water pump, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking. The belt's not cracked or frayed. There's between 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of free play. My oil is filled to manufacturer's specifications, checked with the dipstick. My power steering fluid, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking and filled to the manufacturer. My gear-driven air compressor is tucked away back here. It is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. My gear-driven power steering pump right in front of it, also properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Gearbox and hoses, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts on the hose. Steering linkage, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no missing castle nuts or cotter pins. My spring hangers, front and rear, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My spring arm, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. My U-bolts, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's none missing. Shock absorber, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking. My brake hose, properly mounted, secured at both ends, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. My brake chamber, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. My slack adjuster and push rod, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. With the brakes released and pulled by hand, the push rod should not move more than 1 inch. My brake drum, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My brake lining, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No oil or debris, and the friction material is not worn dangerously thin. My tire, there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts to the tread or sidewall. Tread depth no less than 4/32 of an inch, and it's properly filled to manufacturer specifications, checked with an air gauge. My rim, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no unauthorized welds. My lug nut, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. None are missing. No rust trails or powder residue, no cracks around the bolt hole. My hub seal, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking, and it's properly filled to manufacturer specifications. That concludes my engine compartment. Now I'm going to proceed with the driver's side door and fuel area. To begin with, the mirror, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's clean. My door seals and hinges, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It opens, closes, and latches properly, and the seals are not worn or dry rotted. Fuel tank and cap, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking from both the tank and the cap is on tight. Catwalk and steps, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, clear of any loose objects. My exhaust, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There are no signs of leaks. Drive shaft, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. The U-joints are free of debris. It's not twisted. Torque arm, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. Frame and cross members, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No unauthorized holes or welds, and no missing cross members. Spring hanger, both front and rear, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Spring arm, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. U-bolts, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. None are missing. Shock absorber, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. Airbag, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No missing mounting bolt, and not leaking air. My brake hose, properly mounted, secured at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Not leaking. Brake chamber, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Not leaking. Slack adjuster and push rod, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. With the brakes released and pulled by hand, the push rod should not move more than 1 inch. Brake drum, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Brake lining, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No oil or debris, and the friction material is not worn dangerously thin. Tire, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts to the tread or sidewalls. Tread depth no less than 2/32 of an inch. Properly filled to manufacturer specifications, checked with an air gauge. Rim, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No unauthorized welds. Lug nuts, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. None missing. No rust trails or powder residue, and no cracks around the bolt holes. My axle seal, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No missing mounting bolts. Not leaking and filled to the manufacturer's specifications. Mud flap, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And this concludes my driver's side door fuel area. Now I'm going to proceed with the trailer portion of the inspection. I'm going to start with the Bulkhead, prop mount secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no holes or missing rivet. My frame and cross members, prop mount secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no missing cross members. Landing gear, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, in the fully raised position, and the crank handle secure in the cradle. Frame and tandem release, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Both the release handle and the locking pins are in the fully locked position. My spring hanger, properly mounted secured, both front and rear, not cracked, bent, or broken. Spring arm, properly mounted secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. My shock absorber, properly mounted secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. Airbag, properly mounted secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No missing mounting bolts, and not leaking air. Brake hose, properly mounted secured at both ends, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. Brake chamber, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. My slack adjuster and push rod, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. With the brakes released and pulled by hand, the push rod shouldn't move more than 1 inch. Take a look at my brake drum. It's properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My brake lining, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No oil or debris, and the friction material is not worn dangerously thin. Tire, there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts to the tread or sidewalls. Tread depth no less than 2/32 of an inch, and properly filled to manufacturer specifications checked with an air gauge. My rim, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No unauthorized welds. Lug nuts, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. None missing. No rust trails or powder residue, and no cracks around the bolt hole. My wheel seal, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking, filled to the manufacturer's specification. My mud flap, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Take a look at my doors. Properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Opens, closes, latches properly. Seals are not worn or dry rotted, and my hinges are good. Now we're going to proceed with the coupling section. First, I'm going to check my electric line. It's properly mounted secured at both ends. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and no exposed wires. My air lines, properly mounted secured at both ends. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. My glad hands, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. The glad hand seals are not worn or dry rotted, and they're not leaking air. Fifth wheel air line is properly mounted secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and not leaking. My trailer apron, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no visible gap between my apron and my skid plate. Skid plate, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, is properly lubed. My release arm and safety latch, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's in the fully locked position. My sliding fifth wheel and locking pin, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, in the fully locked position. Platform, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Mounting bolts, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and none missing. I'm gonna check the clearance between my mud flap and landing gear to make sure there's proper space between them and they don't hit each other while making turns. My kingpin, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My locking jaw, properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's fully locked around the kingpin. And this completes my coupling section. Mr. Examiner, I'm gonna check all my lights, reflectors, reflective tape the same way. They're properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, clean and illuminated, and the proper color of amber to the front and the sides, and red to the rear. Before I begin, I'm going to make sure and turn my lights on. I'm going to check my clearance lights, both marker lights, and my headlights. A marker light, a clearance light, reflective tape down the side of the trailer. Got reflective tape on my mud flap, tail lights, and reflectors on the frame. Got a marker light, got a marker light, my ABS light, got clearance lights, tail lights, reflective tape on the door and the bumper. Marker light, reflective tape running down the side of the trailer, marker light, reflective tape, tail lights, and reflectors. Got a clearance light, and a marker light. Mr. Examiner, could you please help me with my 5 functions in my 5 locations? My 5 functions, my left turn signal, right turn signal, my 4-way flashers, high beams, and brake lights. 5 locations, the front of the truck, both sides of the truck, the rear of the truck, both sides of the trailer, and the rear of the trailer. Could you please help me? I'm going to check my left turn signal, right turn signal, 4-way flashers, my high beam, and my brake lights. All right, and this concludes my light inspection. my in-cab inspection. I'm going to perform a safe start. I'm going to turn the key to the on position, make sure my ABS lights come on and off. Make sure I'm in neutral, apply the brake, and start the engine. Release both brakes, seatbelt, make sure it's properly mounted and secured. It's not ripped or frayed. It adjusts and latches properly. My fire extinguisher, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, fully charged. I have 3 red reflective triangles underneath the bunk, and my spare electrical fuses are in the glove box. Check my heat and defrost. I'm going to make sure the defrost is blowing by the windshield. I'm going to make sure my heat's blowing from down below. Check my city horn and my air horn, windshield and mirrors, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. They're clean, no obstructions, and my mirrors are adjusted to me.
Windshield wipers and washers, properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Rubber's not dry, rotting. They work and the fluid comes out.
Check my lighting indicators, my left turn signal indicator, my right turn signal indicator, my high beam indicator, and my 4-way indicator. And check my voltmeter. The alternator's charging between 13 to 14 volts. My oil pressure is rising up to normal operating range. My water temperature is rising up to normal operating range. And my air pressure is rising up to the governor cutout between 120 and 140 psi. Now I'm going to perform air brake test. I'm going to turn the truck off and turn the key back to the on position. Stage 1, the applied pressure test.
I will apply full pressure to the brake to make sure I don't lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Can you time me when I ask?
And now that my gauges have stabilized, Mr. Examiner, could you please start my time? I did not lose more than 4 psi. Next, I'm going to pump down on the brakes until my warning light and buzzer come on
At or above
60 psi. My warning light and buzzer came on. Finally, I'm going to pump down on the brakes until both my trailer valve and my tractor valve pop out between 40 to 20 psi. Both my valves have popped out. That concludes my air brakes. I'm going to perform a safe start. I'm going to turn the key to the on position, make sure my ABS lights come on and off, make sure I'm in neutral, apply the brake, and start the engine. Now I'm going to restart the vehicle, continue to rebuild my air pressure. Now I'm going to perform a parking brake check. First, I'm going to release my tractor brake, apply my trailer brakes, put the vehicle in drive. I'm going to give a light tug on my trailer's brakes. Now I'm going to apply my tractor brake, release my trailer brake. I'm going to give a light tug on my tractor. Now I'm going to release both sets of brakes. I'm going to pull forward to 5 miles per hour. Apply the brake pedal, make sure it comes to a smooth stop and the truck doesn't pull left or right.